What is your full name?
Mary Hines,
Where are you from?
Huntington Woods, Michigan.
How old were you in 2009?
40.
What do you recall about your financial life before the Great Recession?
Before 2009, my 403B was growing every year. I was making probably more money than I have since then. And life was plentiful. It was good.
Were you overly worried about the health of the economy? Why or why not?
Yes and no. It is always scary to go through times like that when there's, a problem with the finances in the entire world or America. But I also know in my heart of hearts that things go in ebbs and flows, and history has shown we've come out of depressions before, and everything goes in stages, and as soon as you're doing really well, then you kind of even out, and then it gets really bad, and then so not so much. I mean, a little, but I knew that it was going to probably get better. Just didn't know how long it would be.
Okay, how did you discover that our nation was facing a severe economic situation?
Well, you heard a lot of things on the news about the banks and the car companies, and how, I was worried, like, GM would no longer be, General Motors would no longer be in existence because of how they were doing so well and then just crashed and burned so quickly, it seemed, but I'm sure it was over a period of time.
What financial hardships did you experience during this economic situation? Loss of savings or reduction of income?
Well, I received pay cuts pretty steadily throughout a 3-year period, and so that made me have to readjust the way our finances and our family's finances were. Things that came, that you took for granted, or started spending more of the savings and not being able to put as much in. It affected us that way.
So saying that, what economic decisions did you and your family make responding to this severe economic situation?
So we had to rethink things, and we would go out to eat less and cook at home more, and use coupons and get things on sale, and do more, hand-me-downs for your clothes and things like that, just to deter some costs.
Okay, so you kind of already mentioned something about GM, but how did you feel about financial bailout given to the automotive industry? Why?
I was really actually happy about it. I agreed with it, and I also understand that they probably weren't the most responsible the entire time, but they were used to having a certain life or a certain way of doing things. And even like General Motors, I had 2 friends and a brother that worked there, and they called it Generous Motors because they were paid so much, and they, things were really plentiful for them. And then all of a sudden they weren't so good, and people weren't buying cars, and the finances weren't doing well. And I really feel that if the government didn't bail them out, that maybe one of them wouldn't exist. One of the big 3 I'm talking wouldn't exist today.
Do you think that recessions or depressions can be prevented? Why or why not?
I don't really think so. I think they're inevitable. I think when we bought our house in 2001, it was a certain price, and then so much longer, at so many years after that, once the Great Recession hit, then our house was worth less than what we had bought it for. So, but then I would always think about, like, what about our kids when they get older? Are their houses going to continue, like, it's going to be like $500,000 for this house that was $200,000? But so I feel like having these ebbs and flows keeps things so that they don't skyrocket so much.
So, what would you want students to know about economic crisis?
One thing that I think is really important for students to know is just because the banks tell you that you can afford a certain house or mortgage amount, it doesn't mean that you can. And another thing is that your job is your greatest asset. So you want to be responsible with that, be responsible with your money, plan ahead, have a savings that's 3 months of your income. So in case something does happen, you're prepared.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank
Bye.
you.